What's up guys, it's Darius. Today I wanted to give you guys out there who are seasoned Destiny 1 players a countdown of 5 things you should be very much excited for in Destiny 2 if you played Destiny 1. First on the list is a personal favorite of mine in terms of why I played Destiny, and that's customization. Right off the bat during the beta I could see the amount of potential and things we would be able to do in terms of customization in Destiny 2 compared to Destiny 1. In Destiny 1 we had shaders that'd deck out our armor, but that was really it for a while. Besides ships with different patterns and colors that you had to have drop, we had nothing else. Then when the April update dropped, we got Chroma, which added even more customization and personality to our armor and weapons, allowing us to apply different colored lights to each piece of armor and weapon. It was a nice touch, but something about it just didn't quite give us customizers the satisfaction that we wanted. We then were greeted with armor and weapon ornaments, which drastically changed the way certain armor and weapons looked when Rise of Iron came out. Sometimes even on a geometric level, these weapons and armor changed. These were all welcome additions, however the fact that they came out during the time of Destiny's lifespan where it was kind of on its way out and people just wanted Destiny 2 didn't really help. Well, that's really changing in Destiny 2. Those who love to stand out in Destiny 1 and customize in Destiny 1 should look forward to the most freedom in terms of aesthetics than ever before in Destiny 2. With the inclusion of ship shaders, being able to have different shaders for each individual piece of armor on your Guardian, having not only weapon shaders but weapon mods as well that will most likely affect how your gun plays compared to someone else with the same gun, and ghost shaders, not to mention clan banners which are customizable on Bungie.net, being the replacement for your class item. The list keeps going and is definitely one of the things that's got me most excited about Destiny 2. Second on the list is the story of Destiny 2. Destiny 1 players, especially those who bought the game day one, will know what a travesty it was for Destiny 1 in terms of what the story could have and should have been, but just wasn't due to development issues. With most of the really interesting stuff in the game being in the grimoire that wasn't available to read in the game, it was quite frustrating for those of us who were really interested in a certain piece of armor or weapon and where it came from and who it was associated with and everything in between. And even though the storytelling that was in the game as well as the item description improved over time, it just still wasn't enough. That is again a changing thing in Destiny 2. There's claimed to be over 50 cutscenes in the game at launch, which is already more than Destiny 1 had across all its DLC releases. Not only that, but for those of us who love the concept of grimoire and were worried about it being completely taken out of the game, it has been confirmed that the game will provide lore tabs on all exotic loot, raid loot, trials loot, and most likely any piece of armor or weapon that plays some sort of significance in the underlying story or is probably a legendary. They haven't been confirmed to have this for blue weapons, but we'll have to see when Destiny 2 releases. This coupled with the scannables throughout the entirety of the game that are told through dialogue and adventures, which are bite-sized story missions that are specific to each main world's character, there's plenty of story for everyone to enjoy in Destiny 2, unlike Destiny 1. Third on the list is things to do besides the story, but more specifically the patrols. Destiny 1 had lots of weaknesses, but one that definitely stood out was how boring and useless patrols were. Sure, we had to use them early on to gather resources to either obtain or upgrade armor and weapons or to complete missions and bounties, but other than that, you almost never were in patrols, especially after they just put the resources in the hangar or the tower. In Destiny 2, it's the complete opposite. As mentioned in the previous entry on the list, we have bite-sized story missions that last about 5 to 10 minutes called adventures that are given to us by specific characters in each world. On top of that, there are public events that have not only been rehauled in terms of how they work, but how they reward you. There are also heroic versions of each and every public event on each planet that you, as a Guardian, have to figure out to trigger in order to gain even better loot than anticipated. And let's not forget about lost sectors, which are basically dungeons of which there are multiple of on each planet. Each of these lost sectors contain puzzles, enemies, and ending bosses that give you exclusive loot for beating him and the sector. All of these coupled with the secrets Bungie has been bound to put in this game is making patrols look like one of the best and enjoyable ways to earn loot and have fun with fire teams in Destiny 2. Very much unlike Destiny 1. Fourth on the list is for us PvPers and people who care about balancing in Destiny. Destiny 1 had a major problem with meta shifting and weapon balancing due to the system that was locked in place for the entirety of the game's lifespan. There was a time when auto rifles were the king of the crucible. Yeah, I know that doesn't sound right, but they were. And while some enjoyed this, it just wasn't how the game was intended to be played. So Bungie would accordingly not only nerf or buff certain weapons to fix this meta, but they did that for every problem they came across in D1. The only problem was that they couldn't get specific enough with the system they had in place. If they wanted to fix the devil you know hand cannon in PvP, they would have to nerf the entire class instead of just that one hand cannon that was giving us a problem. Even more was that they couldn't just do it for PvP, but these nerfs would affect the gun in PvE too, making the gun just right in PvP but suck royally in PvE at times. This is something of the past in Destiny 2. They now have a system in hand that not only brings in locked rolls for each gun, but allows Bungie to go into that specific gun that's causing havoc and change it so that the gun isn't a problem anymore without even touching every other gun in its class. This, coupled with the fact that the balancing is even separate between PvE and PvP, should make for some very fun times in both parts of the game. And last but definitely not least on this list is the future of Destiny 2 after completing all of its original content. Destiny 1 had a very nice roadmap of about the first year for its lifespan, with 2 DLC packs coming right after the launch of Destiny 1 within 4 to 6 months of each other, with the House of Wolves and the Dark Below. However, once we got to the Taken King and Rise of Iron, we reached major droughts of content between then, some of which lasted 6 months straight. The only thing keeping the game alive most of the time were live events that were created by the live team, and even those a lot of the time didn't really keep the bulk of the community busy for a long amount of time. I believe this is also something of the past when it comes to Destiny 2. Like D1, we have a roadmap of 2 DLC packs coming in the future fairly quickly after the launch of Destiny 2, with the Osiris and Rasputin DLC releasing during the winter and spring respectively, but we also have heard and seen signs of good amounts of substantial and or time-consuming content from Bungie and Activision themselves. On multiple occasions it has been stated that Bungie has hired multiple studios and devs to help create enough content to help satisfy the community's want for more things to do in the game. A great example of this is the fact that the Osiris DLC has been in development since October of last year by the live team at Bungie. That just goes to show how much and how good the content we will be getting in Destiny 2 might be. It was also stated that the DLC is going to be as, if not more important than the main game story and gameplay. That, coupled with live events, is making for a very robust and promising future after the first DLC packs of Destiny 2, unlike Destiny 1. And that's it for this video, guys. Let me know down below which of these 5 aspects of Destiny 2 are you most looking forward to as a seasoned Destiny player, or if there's anything I didn't add on the list. If you enjoyed, leave a like, sub for more Destiny 2 videos, and hit that bell button to make sure you don't miss any of my future uploads and live streams. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.